If you think about it, we should talk about real quick the time that we went up to St. Louis. And I got accosted by the lesbians.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we should.
And it's not a bad story, but so Dan gets a hold of me after we made friends, and he's like, "Hey, we're going to St. Louis. If you want to like ride with me, it'd be cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'll ride with you, man." So I met him. I met you up like at Drury. University. I dropped my car off there in a parking lot at Drury, or some random like meetup spot. And so I get in his car, and no offense, but this is a janky ass car. And it was dirty as shit, probably, right? So I get in there, and I'm like, "Rock and roll, man." And so me and Dan, right, who kind of knew each other, but we had 3.5 hours of getting to know each other, and we head for St. Louis. And I was like, "Hey, man, are the other guys coming up?" "Oh yeah, they're all coming up. We're staying at this place." So we get up there and we stay at this place, and we get there. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing like commotion outside. And it was one of those deals like, I don't know if you've ever been to University Plaza, but the rooms come out, then it's got an overlook down into the main part, you know, or like the DoubleTree, it's down. So I get out of my room and I go up there and I look over the rail, and there's like this runway and all these lights and a huge production. They were having a like a modeling.
Like a fashion show?
Fashion show.
Oh my God.
And there was hot girls everywhere. Now, mind you, the show that we were doing that night, or that they were doing, didn't start until 1 a.m. We were playing at Pops. We were at the late show. It was a 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. gig.
Crazy.
right? So I'm like, God bless. So I'm like, well, I need to get this party started. So I knew this gal, name not important. I called her and I was like, hey, just got to St. Louis. Going to be a great night. Got a place to stay. If you want to come up, get on the road, it'll be great. And she says, okay. So she says, I'll do that. I'm going to bring a friend. So sure enough, a couple hours later, we get a knock on the door, and this gal opens up the door, and she's holding a bottle of vodka, and her friend's holding a bottle of vodka, and they're both lesbians, or what I thought were lesbians, okay?
Okay.
All right, which is fine. I'm like, it's a good party.
Cool times.
So they come in, we start drinking, everything's fine, and they're like, hey, we want to hit the strip clubs before this rock show. And I'm like, yeah, so where Pops was, there was Dream Girls on one side and PTs on the other.
Right.
It was East St. Louis.
Right,
Yes.
which is really, it was actually Illinois.
It's basically.
We've been to PTs, right? Was that PTs we went to?
Well, we went to the other one, Hustlers.
Larry Flint.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So they take me there. This gal walks in, throws down $100 bill. She's like, I need some ones. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be a fun night. So we're strip clubbing while the band is, I don't know what they're doing. I left because I've got girls working.
You got stuff to do.
So we get there, sit in the middle. One set's on one side, one set's on the other. We start having a great time. Like, I will tell you, I've been to a lot of strip clubs. And I've been to strip clubs with dudes. And I've been to strip clubs with girls. And this was the funnest trip I've ever been to a strip. These girls were nasty. And I'd say nasty in a good way. I was like, this is amazing. Right? So we're having a great time. Money's just flying everywhere. They're instantaneously just all on them. And the one leans over. She says, hey. She says, I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm 80-20. And I'm like, what does that mean?
That must have been after a few drinks.
Yes, sir.
That's what happens.
Lesbians get straighter and straighter.
She goes, I'm 80-20. I'm like, what's that mean? She says, she goes, I'm 80% lesbian, but 20% straight. But my girl's a gold star. And I'm getting all this like lesbian lingo. And I'm like, and this is before the days of Google. So I just had to straight eat it and be like, what does that mean?
Right.
She's like, she's never had a dick.
Oh.
And then I was like, aw. And then she goes, but we're wanting to change it to 9.
Oh.
And then I'm like, oh, shit. So the night goes on. The show starts. The show's great. We have a great time. And about 4 o'clock before the show, and she's like, it's time to go. So on the way out, we grab a funnel cake from a food truck, random, get in a taxi because there was no Uber, and head back to the thing. And we get back there, and the gold star straight passes out. Like passes out. And they're over in their bed, and I'm in my bed, and the lights are off, and I feel something crawl into my bed. And it was 80-20. And she says, are you ready? And I says, she's passed out. She's like, nah, not completely.
Not completely.
And I'm like, no. She's passed out
I'm not doing
enough.
this.
Ain't happening. She's like, hang on, I'll go talk to her.
Oh my God.
So then she comes over and I hear, wake up. And she comes back over. She's like, she's fine. Come on. And I'm like, no. Freaking as soon as I heard that first crow or the rooster crow, I was grabbing my backpack. I met those guys down there. As soon as we get ready to leave, they're like, you banged that lesbian. I'm like, no, but I got a hell of a story. That was my first on the road trip with Machine Gun Symphony.
Nice. That's a great fucking story.
Tune in live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central.
On the Unsung Screamers Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Twitter.
And check out our Unsung Screamers podcast.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Ah!